that comes with that as well, because you get to see them learn and grow and go out into the world and be successful. And very often, especially here, they send their children back to us, they send their grandchildren back to us, which is truly a beautiful thing. This is one of my favorite meetings because we get an opportunity to acknowledge people who have spent a good portion of their professional lives working in various capacities in our district, serving the children in our care. And quite a few of them are able to be here tonight. And I wanted to read their certificate that we're going to present to each of these folks. This certificate is presented in grateful recognition of dedication, service, and unwavering commitment to our students and our school community. Your hard work has left a lasting impact at the Hudson City School District. And I think, one of the other things that is noteworthy is I've seen in the 1 year that I've been here, a lot of folks who served here and they continue to come back. They're sometimes substitutes, both the board members, they're volunteers, they're active family members who show up at our various events, and they show their love for this school and this community. So I am very grateful to invite these folks, and we're going to ask each person to come up, and they'll shake Mark's hand and receive their certificate, and receive a round of applause. Yeah. And at the end, we're all going to come up and take a group picture. Yeah, and we're also blessed because a lot of these folks brought their families with them and friends as well. Okay, without further ado, Diana Olmstead.
She's not here.
Teresa Beatty. Darlene Clark. It's going to be really exciting when someone actually comes up to get the certificate. Donna Coons. Gus Ellsworth.
He's here.
Bertrice Folds. Diane Guarino. Jill Hanley. Wayne Kinney. Sheila Leto. Francis Menino. Janine Millar. Woohoo! Josefa Nero.
Josefa. Giuseppe.
This is how we dress every single day, also. Scott Rogers. The other thing that I forgot to say is these folks, some of them for 5 years, some for 10, some for 20, for 25, and 30 years. That entire time, this might have been their first round of applause for the work that they did.
Are we supposed to go over there? Is that what we're doing?
You want us in this picture?
Are we going that way?
You just want to see us walk over all these wires here. Sadly, yes, I think that's true.
Let's eat cake.
All right. Congratulations again to all of our retirees, and thank you to Lisa McGovern and the Food Service Department for that wonderful display. Now we have our student representative report.
Today was the last day of school in the high school, and regents and exams start tomorrow. The high school is having a baccalaureate ceremony on June 24th at 6 p.m. Graduation is June 26th at 6 p.m. And the class of 2027 is hosting a golf tournament in August. I also want to recognize the new Student Council President and Representative, Liba Linton. Stand up. She is one of the most intelligent, courageous, and talented person I know. She's definitely the best person for this position, and she'll do her very best to reflect and represent the student body.
Congratulations.
I also wanted to give thanks to Ms. Bender and Ms. Abatable, the advisors of Student Council, for all the work they do and how they helped me in this position. And the entire class would agree to thank the Writing Center by Gail Wheeler and Omi Mufti. They've been putting in so much work helping us with college essays and scholarships, which is a huge advantage for us as a small school. They're a place where if you walk by any point during the fall, it'll be filled with students and Chromebooks, and a place where a student can feel comfortably to be in.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Can I ask LaBona a quick question?
Of course.
You're done, right? So I just wanted to give LaBona a little shout out because I did go to the awards ceremony last week at the high school, and she was up there. How many times did you go up to get an award?
I think I got 8 scholarships and I think 10 recognitions in total.
Right? and how many did you get? Oh, so you didn't get any awards, but I saw you there. But I was just curious. But I did want to just say one more thing. How did you know that the scholarships were available for you?
Through the Writing Center, they always post.
With Mrs. Wheeler? Is that
Yes, they always put scholarship announcements, and also the guidance office. They always send out emails, send out announcements. Yes.
And how do you? What's the process after?
So if it's a paper copy, guidance will always have a copy in their office, and on the page you'll have all the requirements, but also again the Writing Center will have everything, and they'll have it by date as well.
Awesome. I just wanted to say one more thing about this. It's a considerable list, and I also wanted to give a shout out to the individuals that contributed the monies towards these awards. Because the Blue Hawks again show up. The Kukerstein family, Laura has an award now in memory of her mom. I mean, it's a considerable list. The wardens, this is wardens at the elementary school, so there's an award now in memory of her sister-in-law. There's one here. I mean, they go all the way back to the class of 1928, right? So it would be nice maybe if somebody on the social media can put the list with the students that were given the awards. But it's a humongous list. But congratulations to you guys, and congratulations to the community because we stepped up once again. Thanks for letting me step in.
Of course. All right, board reports, audit committee.
The external auditor engagement letter is on this agenda, and that's the report.
Facilities.
Facilities Committee met yesterday. We were updated that the pool is currently closed now so that it can begin work with the energy performance contract. The boiler room is being worked on. Some of that's already in progress. We've also been informed that the team is looking into a temporary stair insert that would allow folks who have a little bit more mobility difficulty to get in. It already has a chair lift that can be put in and taken out, but we'd use a temporary stair insert because that way it would keep all the swim lanes free, and that hopefully will help some of our community members. The energy performance contract kickoff kickoff meeting was held on June 3rd. Boiler one is already out, as I mentioned. Just to remind folks, we're going from steam to high efficiency natural gas condensing boilers. The solar buyout is working its way through the progress as well. Goodness, sorry, I'm going to trip over myself a whole bunch. Capital project bids were due today, and we'll be choosing a general contractor on the 18th. Kickoff meeting to happen next week. Just a note to the public, we will be needing to briefly close the auditorium for chair replacement. That's being, scheduling has been done to minimize impact on public and school events. Should be hopefully done in about 4 weeks. Smart Schools School Improvement Program, a project including cameras, software, updates to the phone system, is getting close. We're going to schedule a kickoff meeting for that as well soon. And the announcement went out that the outdoor classroom received money from Dee Dee Barrett and Speaker Carl Hasty, and that will be at the elementary school. And we're very excited that the community members who joined the facilities committee have brought extraordinary energy to that project, and we look forward to seeing that one start to take shape.
I'm sorry, Kirsten, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, so is it all right for me to?
Absolutely.
I just want to make a, kind of a statement. I had to write it up because I'm not the greatest at impromptu speaking. But so I want to start by saying congratulations to Christy and Hannah and the other members of the Parents for Healthy Schools for all their passion and commitment toward realizing the goal of creating an outdoor classroom for our students at the elementary school. It's an incredible. It is incredible, and we commend you. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing, and it deserves every bit of the financial support that you've received. I don't want to, want what I'm about to say now to take away from that glory, which should be recognized and celebrated in its own right, and I pray that my words don't interfere or jeopardize the funding in any way. But how is it that we are laying off staff, cutting programming, raising school taxes to close a multi-million-dollar spending gap, in part because the state of New York is not able to or willing to increase its aid allocation this year. But there's $1.6 million readily available and being offered to a grassroots parent group for an outdoor project that just a week ago, few people even knew about. What's wrong with this picture?
Are you done, Maureen?
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me know when you're done. 'Cause I don't, sorry.
Got page 2. Sorry. I don't have the words to express how this makes me feel. Sorry. Outraged, gobstopped, heartsick. How can anyone make sense of it? But I please know that no one in the district or on the board was aware, had any idea that that kind of money was going to be allocated to this project. We had no idea. This project started, it was brought to our attention about a month ago. And there was mention at the facilities meeting at that time, there was mention of going to Dee Dee Barrett and some other, and Michelle Hinchy, and asking for donations and help. And the next thing we know, Dee Dee's coming to the school to do a tour. And then the next thing the board members become aware of is that when we see Lance's video of them offering $1.6 million to help with this project. They were hoping to get $100,000 to $200,000, and they got this. So I think that had we known about it ahead of time, we the district, Dr. Bailey, we would have maybe done a little bit, we would have presented a little bit differently, right? Maybe at a different time. The timing on this is not the greatest. But we didn't know. And so I just wanted everyone to know that This wasn't some secret that we were keeping, or I don't know, I'm babbling on now, so I'm gonna just, I went off script, so I'm gonna end
That's
there.
okay.
I think I got the point, my point
Yeah,
across. So,
absolutely.
I agree with you, and I just want to add that I read about it in the Register Star. I had no idea anything was going on at all.
well, nobody did. That's the thing.
I just want to say it so people don't think that
Right, but you're saying I'm saying we, nobody knew.
I don't know
Nobody
what
knew.
anybody else.
Yeah, it's definitely a surprise. It's not the district's money; it is state money. That's part of a program called the Community Resiliency, Economic Sustainability, and Technology Program. It's hundreds, over $300 million that the state has earmarked specifically for capital projects in communities across the state. So it's not even like we can say we're going to use it for something else. So that money is out there, it has been given to us. I think it's our job to, support the community and support people who live here and have ideas and get behind them and make it great. This is all of our district. Like, anybody who has an idea and wants to make our schools better, like, come to the board and we'll get behind you and do whatever we can. So
I think it just would have been nice if we knew about it, or we were invited to the tour, or any little bit.
It wasn't, like I told you, Diana, I sit on the facilities
it was
committee.
a total
Kirsten,
surprise.
this was a last minute kind of a thing, and it was, I mean, not last minute, but yeah.
Oftentimes with state government, they do come kind of by surprise. So it wasn't. I think even the parent committee that put this together did not know what to expect, and I think I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, knowing
Right.
that pots are set aside for certain kinds of community development and can't necessarily be reallocated. To me, I am grateful that it came together the way it did, and I know it's going to improve the student experience, which is everybody's
Yes.
hope
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the things that we do here. I share your disappointment that share your disappointment the state's not able to, do better with the school allocations at this point in time. But just with my experience with the state, knowing that those pots are earmarked very separately, and they're not porous boundaries.
Yeah, and
So I'm grateful for what we have.
I would just add, and Dr. Bailey can speak more to this, but there was a conversation that was had with both Assembly Woman Barrett and Speaker Heastie about the shortcomings of foundation aid and how districts like Hudson, who have both extreme poverty and extreme wealth, are punished by that formula. So we did use that as an opportunity to say, hey, our district needs help. This function of the state needs to change. And, that was also a purpose of the visit. So hopefully
Awesome.
that message has gotten through. And in coming years, when we receive our state aid, that we see it start to swing back in our favor.
I
Nice.
think, as we're moving forward with this, $1.6 million is a lot of money. It's, like you started with, right? This will be good for kids. I think I'm hoping now moving forward that we can make sure that there's like a group continuing to make decisions, right? That's a lot more money than I think was anticipated. That lets a project be much bigger than is anticipated. Making sure moving forward that we make sure that a broad group of parents,
Yes.
staff members that represent like the full diversity of our district are a part of the planning moving
Yep.
forward. So this truly can become a project that benefits and meets the needs of everybody. And I think I think there's an opportunity there moving forward to really have this be like a full community project that people can really, really be so excited by.
Yes, absolutely.
And like said, right, I think it's like this is the start, and now it's like, whoa, we have all of this. Let's figure out how now to like.
Are there upfront costs
come.
for this?
It's a reimbursement grant.
So what do we have to put up front?
We will pay all monies, and then it will be reimbursed to us.
Well,
we've already talked to
Christy said
we'll
some of
wait
it.
until we'll get the award letter, and it will be more specific on, typically when you get a great award, they do give you a percentage up front. We'll wait to see the specifics of this. We have not received the award letter. We did see the press release and that information, but we'll wait for the specifics when we receive them in writing.
So we'll get something up front first and we can spend that.
I'm not going to guarantee that. That's a typical process for a grant, but we'll have to wait to see on how, we'll wait to see it when we receive that letter of recognition and award.
And the group, the Parents for Healthy Schools, they've already fundraised and raised some portion of money also. So they have enough to get started, certainly.
And I think that they're also trying to motivate volunteer work too, so it can be a true community effort.
Yes.
With a lot of opportunity to bring folks in.
And it will go
make
through
the
the
most
facilities
out of that.
committee as well.
Yeah.
The whole thing is going to be, I mean, it has to. It's a school project in the end. So it will all be regulated and et cetera through the school.
There unquestionably were a lot of surprises that day. I mean, you all captured that very well, that Parents for a Healthy Hudson very rightfully wanted something better for our students, but also very rightfully wanted to make a more meaningful connection between the school and the community, and being able to build something on the edge of our elementary school that's accessible to the public is the perfect way, you know, to get that entree. I would say of all of the places I've worked, Assemblywoman Barrett has a more deeper understanding of Hudson and where we are financially and where we are budgetarily and environmentally than probably any other legislator I've ever worked with. And from the first time I met her in the fall, she was talking very confidently and competently about what it is that we need. And when she arrived, she pulled me aside and she said, now is your time to talk to the Speaker of the House around exactly what Mark said, exactly what we've been saying. She said it, then I said it, and then she asked other people to say it. And that, I'll call it a not so chance meeting, but close to a chance meeting, was an opportunity to tell how different Hudson is from all of the neighboring schools that people consistently compare us to, both in budget and student cost and tax rate. It is very different. And it needs different care from our legislators. And the way that it, you know, the way the system works right now is it's one paintbrush, which you've heard say over and over again, the foundation aid formula doesn't work right. The wealth ratio in our district doesn't work right, and it needs to be rethought. And actually, the speaker, while we were talking, rethought and said maybe we could do this or maybe we could do that to help mitigate the fact that so many factors line up against us when we're trying to get our rightful share of the money that we need to educate the children of the district. So there were some really good things that happened. In addition to the money, there were some very good conversations that happened that ideally will have a lasting impact. He also asked about Tier 6. He said, how's that positively impact your district? He was talking monetarily, and I was talking from a human capacity or human resource. We need people to want to go into this profession. The folks that are leaving, we need someone standing behind them ready to take on this imperative work. And if they have to work until they're, all right, 162, it's significantly less attractive. So those changes have had a positive impact. He was able to hear that as well. And they need to continue to champion for us and for the other schools in New York State. So I was glad to have had the opportunity to meet with them. And ideally, they continue to keep an interest on the students and the community here, because I think that there's a lot of benefit that can happen from having the right people know what we need.
All right. Thank you all. Policy Committee.
In our last policy meeting, we worked on the committee, now I'm saying committee policies that have to be re-upped every year. So those are up for policy coming up, and we can talk more about those when we get to the policy part of the agenda. This was also the last meeting of this board year where we had an expanded community membership. So I wanted to also shout out Nikki and Walter on the school staff who were a part of this policy committee all year as volunteers. We had a couple parents and community members as well, who for various reasons had to step away. We are going to be looking for more folks for policy committee come fall, so just putting in an early plug for that. Also update on the Code of Conduct Subcommittee, which has also been meeting and really tirelessly working to get the Code of Conduct, which is another thing that gets readopted every year, so that our new revamped Code of Conduct is up for our July vote. So you will see that on tonight's agenda. That has gone out for its second round of feedback from staff. We made pretty substantial changes based on the staff feedback in the first round. We're hoping to get more from everybody in this last round, and really we know that the first step is really getting what's on paper right, and then the next step is really thinking about the implementation plan. And so we are continuing to work on that. We will meet one more time the end of June to finalize based on the feedback that has been given. And we can talk again about that more when it comes up later in this agenda.
Great. Thank you, Amanda. I know policy and code of conduct was a lot of work for you this year, so thank you for heading that up. Finance committee?
Finance committee will be scheduling a July meeting and monthly thereafter to kick off the next financial cycle.
Great, thank you. For board president, already talked about our meeting with Dee Dee and the speaker. A few other things. We held semifinalist interviews for our superintendent on May 26th. In addition to creating a presentation for the board, each semifinalist was interviewed by a panel of 12 staff, community, and student representative. And we really valued all the perspectives that were shared by these committee members and are grateful for their time and dedication. Also wanted to thank our buildings and ground staff, technology team, kitchen staff, and central office staff, all of whom played an integral role in the search process. I believe Dr. Bailey will talk a little bit more about this later too, but it's been almost a month since our budget vote, and we have received some feedback from both community and staff members on ways to improve our voting procedures, and we are taking these suggestions very seriously and want to ensure our election process is something that people can have faith in. So we'll continue examining these procedures throughout the year and make sure that they're discussed at a board meeting in February or March or next year, so that everybody is aware of how our votes will be administered. All right. I have a few presentations tonight. First, we have our Model UN team.
Hi everyone, my name is Liba. I am the upcoming student council president, and I will be the next student board member. I'm here today as a representative of Model UN with Labona, and we're here today to talk about the barriers that academic teams like Model UN, Mock Trial, Tri-M, and Envirothon face when we compete and represent our schools, specifically regarding the transportation issues that we face.
For the past few years, academic teams have faced many problems while getting transportation. Advisors spend most of the time with paperwork instead of preparing their teams for competition. Academic teams do more than win competitions, just as sports do, yet we still struggle due to administration barriers. There is no consistent process to get transportation. We often have to file a field trip report instead of starting it off the school year like a sports team do. Students gain many valuable skills, like public speaking, and they represent our school. We are not asking for special treatment, we're just asking for a consistent process. As I said, academics teams allow students and especially in a school like ours, to learn essential skills like leadership, public speaking, and critical thinking. These are especially important when we consider college and the competitive landscape. And I wouldn't be here in this position as student representative without being in these extracurricular clubs. I'd like to give you a timeline. In 2018, academic teams received funding through ESSA Title I VA Student Sport and Academic Enrichment Funding. Transportation costs were covered through building budgets similar to the athletic teams. There was meetings with transportation business officials that confirmed that academic teams would receive transportation support in the same manner as athletics. Under Tabitha Begain, the previous business person, plans were discussed to create a dedicated approval process, reorganizing competitions as team events rather than field trips. COVID relief funding also allowed us to attend Harvard Model UN in 2024. Now, what has changed? During the 2024 to 2025 school year, communications surrounding transportation and approvals became increasingly inconsistent. Processes that had previously been discussed or supported were no longer clearly defined. Advisors were often required to navigate field trips to procedures despite academic teams functioning as competitive organizations. Requests submitted months in advance faced frequently delays, confusion, or denial. One of the teams was Envirathon. I'll give you our track record. For the past 10 years, we've been regional champions consecutively. For 3 years, we've been overall state champions, and we've consistently placed within top 10. In 2023, we placed second in state. In 2024, we placed seventh. And in 2025, we placed second. And during 2026, we placed first overall against 22 teams regionally. The problem was that we filed a field trip request in January. The advisor had gotten no response back. So on Friday, before competition, the next Wednesday, he emailed, and he got a response that the field trip was denied and there was no bus available. We had funding, but this was just 2 business days before. If it was filed in January, why were we noticed in April? We were forced to find a $620 cost. Thankfully, we got a donation from the bus company, and we had to dip into the environmental club form. However, this should not have happened. If we were known in advance, we could have had more fundraising to go through this field trip. And as you've seen, we won that competition.
'Cause you're awesome.
Next, I would like to speak about Model UN. So basically what happened is that Model UN, we received permission to use the school van at no cost. We filled in the paperwork months beforehand, but this paperwork was misplaced by administration. And as a result, the conference that we prepared months for, we were not able to go to because the deadline passed, our paperwork was misplaced, and we were unable to go. Now, what we're here today for is why did this happen? Why are we facing these barriers that athletic teams do not face, despite being on the same level as them, if not better? As Labona mentioned before, Envirathon placed first this year. Model UN, we have had best delegates in so many conferences, which is profoundly rare, especially for a small school such as us. And yet, we do not face the same treatment that athletic teams faced, nor the same recognition. And what we want here today is the same support that athletic teams face in terms of transportation, because right now, transportation is one of our greatest costs. The next team I would like to talk about is mock trial. Again, we we submitted a transportation request through the building budget form, and it was denied. As a result, students and advisors were forced to acquire transportation last minute, meaning the advisors drove students themselves to competition, which required multiple trips. Again, if it wasn't for the dedication of our advisors, who instead of preparing us for competitions, they're forced to deal with logistics, I ask you, what would have happened if our advisors weren't so dedicated? But again, why is it advisors that have to deal with logistical issues? We have advisors to prepare us for our competitions, but instead, they're facing issues with logistics and transportation and administration when that is not their job. Now, it's okay. Regardless, despite the issues that mock trial faced with transportation, they placed in county finals. Now, I ask you this. What more could our students have done if they didn't have to worry about these logistical issues? Even with these issues, they placed first in county finals, but if they did not face these issues, how much more could they have done?
And luckily, county finals was at our local courthouse. If it was further away, we could not have gone.
Next is Trium. So Trium, for those of you who do not know, is the Music Honor Society. For the past 10 years, Concert Band has competed within the Six Flags Music Interschools competition. And throughout these 10 years, we have placed first, second, we have done exceptionally well within these competitions. However, this year, for the first time in 10 years, band was unable to compete because funding for transportation could not be secured. Again, our main problem is transportation, not only the cost, but the approval process for transportation. Now, as a result, despite months of preparation and practice, band was unable to compete and showcase their talent within this competition. For many seniors, this is their last year able to compete, and because of transportation issues, they were not able to compete. Now, as I mentioned before, athletic teams, they already have established procedures. They have systems of transportation already. They have scheduling that's predictable, and they have a standardized system for transportation that academic teams lack. Why do academic teams lack this parity and equality? If we work just as hard, if not harder, as athletic teams, and I feel that we are deserving of the same equality, of the same treatment, exactly. When the transportation process fails, not only do we lose opportunities to compete, we suffer a lack of morale, we suffer a lack of team growth, and the district, in particular, loses opportunities for recognition. The district has been facing a lot of scrutiny lately, as I'm sure you've all known. And yet, we struggle to highlight the best parts of our school district. A big part of this could be faced if we had the opportunities to showcase our talent. But we cannot have these opportunities if we can't even secure the funding or the process or the approval to get there. Now, we aren't just here to tell you what's wrong. We do have a list of recommendations. Our main one is that we want to create a new policy that outlines transportation for academic teams and that standardizes it across the district. We want to create consistent documentation procedures so that travel policy can be standardized, even if personnel or the administration changes. Again, what we want is consistency. We need a consistent approval process for transportation so things that happened to Model UN, to mock trial, to Trium does not happen again.
We understand how much financial stress the district goes to, but our greatest priority right now is to have standardizing transportation. Like with Envirothon, we had the money and we were okay with fundraising if we had prior notice. Academic teams deserve as much recognition and hard work put into it as athletic teams, but yet we do not face the same effort. We are not seeking for special treatment, but again, the same treatment.
Before we end, I want to leave you all with a thought. The causes that we support reflect our institutional priorities as a district and as individuals. If we say that we support academics, we must support academic teams. And if we say that we support students, we must support the students who are within these academic teams. If we say that we value critical thinking skills, if we say that we value leadership, then we must support academic teams that foster these skills. Thank you all for hearing us today.
Is there any questions?
We didn't hear what you said, Tony.
Is there any questions?
I think you guys did an awesome
Yeah,
job
that was
presenting
awesome.
your concerns, and great job.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you for bringing all this to our attention. I'm sure we can follow up with Dr. Bailey and Ms. Ferry and come up with plans for next year so that you guys don't have to face these challenges.
Thank you so much. And if you guys have any questions, please let either of us or Mrs. Sullivan know. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have our district technology plan update.
Good evening. Make sure I'm on. Okay. My name is Cheryl Rabinowitz. For those who may not know me, I'm currently the manager of instructional technology, and I'll be the executive director for curriculum instruction and technology beginning July 1st. This evening, I'm going to speak to you about our technology plan. I'll start with, we have a very robust technology committee. They have been meeting all school year, and we've worked on various things, from recommendations for an artificial intelligence plan, artificial policy, social media policy, and primarily also our district technology plan. The committee is very collaborative. It's comprised of students, staff, community members, administrators, and support staff. I want to really shout out the committee because it's a volunteer committee. They put a lot of time in it, and I'm really appreciative, and I know the district's appreciative of all their hard work. So our technology plan. So New York State has a requirement that every 3 years we must create a district technology plan. It helps us because it gives us direction of where we want to go with our technology in our district. It also helped when we submitted the Smart Schools Investment Plan. So the plan that we're working on now is from 2026 to 2029. It has been approved by New York State. We had to submit it in April to our BOCES partner for review, and they submitted, and one thing they asked us was just to make sure it was on our website, which it is, and I'll show you at the end where anyone who's interested could access the plan for this next 3 years, plus our previous 3 years, as well as our smart schools. So while the board may be familiar with where it is, we'll just make sure that everyone in the community, if they want to look for that, they can. So the sources that were used for developing the plan was the surveys that we issued out to our district. Our students took surveys, our staff took surveys, and also our families. So we used that. And then there was another survey that when we send out our technology forms in the beginning of the school year, we also provide a New York State digital equity survey form that comes from the state, so we use that data as well. And then lastly, any of the IT department needs assessment and our BOCES partners of things they felt we needed to make sure we had in our plan. That's all the data we used. The vision of the technology committee and also our technology plan is to integrate the technology to engage diverse learners, promote equity, enhance personalized learning, and prepare students for college, career, and responsible citizenship in a global community. I'm going to put my glasses on. Thank you. So when you write the technology plan, you come up with goals. And again, the goals are based on the data. So from our last plan to this plan, the previous plan focused a lot on infrastructure, because when I had come to the district in 2020, our infrastructure was really bad, and we didn't really have a lot of resources. So the committee at the time felt we needed to develop a plan that focused on those items. And one of the goals was upgrading the wireless, upgrading the network. The network has been upgraded, but the wireless, the phone system, the camera system, of course, there was a big expense to that. So we used our technology plan and applied for the Smart Schools plan. So that goal you'll see reflected in this plan because we haven't been awarded it yet. So when we wrote the 3 new goals, we also brought over goal 4. So goal 1, establish a consistent, aligned digital learning environment through district-wide instructional technology expectations and ongoing professional development. What does that mean? When you look at the actual plan on the website, or you may have it in board docs, it tells us how we're going to monitor that and what actions we're going to take to do that. We want to make sure we're consistently providing professional development for our teachers. The example, AI has come out. Our teachers have asked us for that. So a lot of our focus we'd like to do is AI plus other things. We've done some of it this year, but we really want to focus on that. So that's an example. The next one, ensure students use technology purposefully to support inquiry, project-based learning, and responsible digital citizenship. We have done some digital citizenship activities with our students. We've also are rolling out, and we will roll out more next year, about cybersecurity awareness training for our students and staff. So we want to make sure our students are comfortable and they understand what it means to be good digital citizenship. And when you look in the plan, again, you'll see all the actions that really detail what that goal is about. And goal 3, families. The committee felt it was very important to offer workshops and newsletters and communication. We do some of that, but we really want to up our game with that. So that's what goal 3 is about, is providing workshops for families all around technology and instruction and curriculum. So we're excited about that, and we look to do that. And then lastly, again, that's the goal 4, which I mentioned to you, so I won't get into the details because I've said what that goal is about. But as Kirsten had mentioned, we got word that our technology plan for the Smart Schools is almost approved, so our fingers are crossed. And then once that is rewarded to us, then we'll start meeting about that. And then lastly, we're very excited and we're very proud of the district. We received an award from Verizon Innovative Learning Schools, and for those who may not know, we are a Verizon Innovative Learning School District. That was awarded to us 2 years ago, and it provided Chromebooks for our students and for our staff and professional development. It also helped us with our instructional technology coaches. So Verizon recognized the work that has been done the last 2 years and provided awards. So I'm very proud of that for the district. You know, that's kudos to the whole district. And we were on a call in May, Dr. Bailey, myself, the principals, the coaches, and we received the award. And it says here we'll get a certificate and so forth and a trophy. Will be mailed out a little while before this meeting. Dr. Bailey sent me a text. We received the trophy, so that was very nice. So again, kudos to the whole district. And then lastly, I always think and I always mention that it's so important that none of this would happen unless there's collaboration. And again, we really are very thankful to all our staff, our students, our families, the Board of Education members, Dr. Bailey, the district and the building administration. I won't read you everything listed there, but it takes a village, and you know, Hudson really does show up for our staff, and this is, you know, all of this planning is so important, and I just want to thank them and acknowledge and thank all of you. And those links listed there are just links to the different programs that we have. And that's basically what I just wanted to give you, was a high-end overview. And again, on the, I can show you, let's see, we can exit full screen. On our website, right here, if you go to the website and you go under departments and programs, and you scroll down to technology, it's for anyone at home. Okay, and if you go down to the bottom, actually they moved it up, you'll see the plans and details. This is this year's plan, next year's, excuse me, last time, 3 years ago's plan, and the smart schools. So it's all there. And this is an example of the plan. Again, I won't read you all these details, but this is where I explain the goals are in this plan and who the target student populations are. And these are all the actions that we want to take. So it's very well thought out and detailed. You know, it looks very, you know, hospital-y like, you know, not very pretty, but it is there, and it does show you all the details. So at any time, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. But again, I want to thank the Technology Committee, and Ms. Bender, she's part of the Technology Committee. Labona has been part of the Technology Committee, and if I missed anybody who's here, thank you. And that's it, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question. Sorry.
sure.
Sorry. I don't know if it is your role in the technology community, but is there any policy or topic surrounding like, the misuse of AI?
Yes, there is. In our AI plan and in our AI policy, it does indicate that.
Okay.
And I'm glad you asked that question, you know, and it does say specifically for staff, for students, and so forth.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
I just want to build off of that, and I think like
Sure.
through this, through the AI, through a new social media policy that's coming down the pipeline, like I think finding that balance between like what's exciting and helps us move things forward with technology, but not recognizing the limits of it, and when, you know, face-to-face time is more important. And I think like you have created things that ride that line in a good way.
Thank you, thank you. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, brings us to appointment of superintendent of schools. I would like to make a motion to appoint Todd Hilgendorf as the superintendent of schools for the school district and to approve an employment agreement setting forth the terms and conditions under which Mr. Hilgendorf will be employed.
Second.
All in favor? Amazing. So it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Todd B. Hilgendorf as the next superintendent of the Hudson City School District. Todd is a lifelong resident of Round Top, New York, and a graduate of Caro Durham High School. After that, he earned a BS from Cornell and graduate degree from the College of St. Rose. He joins Hudson from the Greenville Central School District, where he spent 13 years serving in several leadership roles, including interim superintendent, assistant superintendent for business and finance, director of curriculum instruction and assessment, and high school principal. Not all at the same time, of course. Throughout a rigorous interview process, Todd distinguished himself as the strongest candidate and best fit for Hudson, demonstrating his experience, passion, and proven results, most notably his work guiding Greenville out of its TSI designation, a current priority for our district. The Board of Education looks forward to partnering with Mr. Hilgendorf to build a bright future for our students, staff, and community. Welcome, Mr. Hilgendorf. Welcome to your family members as well. And before you say a few words, Mr. Hilgendorf will address our community. I'm going to call executive session because we have some things to talk about, and then everybody can mill around and say hi and talk. And once you get a chance to meet some few folks, we'll skedaddle and get on with the rest of the meeting.
Very good. Thank you, Mark. And good evening, everybody, and thanks for truly a warm welcome. I've really felt welcomed here tonight and appreciate everybody's support. Because I was here tonight and the retirees were here, I think that's also a nice opportunity for me. So I know many of them left, but I'll speak to you, sir, because you're here. Thank you for your service to Hudson City. I know I didn't have the opportunity to work with you, but I certainly, listening to Mr. Bailey or Dr. Bailey, respect and appreciate the work that you've done and all the retirees did for this district. And while you may be leaving, I'm new. You have a wealth of knowledge. I would happily welcome you in to learn from you and to hear about your experience at Hudson. So if you'd be interested, I'd be happy to do that. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Board of Education for placing your trust in me and your confidence in me. The responsibility of leading a school district, I find, is one that I do not take lightheartedly, and I am grateful for the opportunity to serve you and the entire Hudson City School District community. As Mark mentioned, I've been in education for 20 years. Don't really know how that happened because I feel like I just started last week, but over 20 years in education and in a variety of different roles. But there is one lesson that has remained constant in those roles that I've learned throughout my career, and that is successful schools are built through strong relationships and collaboration. I've sought to understand the strengths in all of my roles, the strengths, talents, and perspectives of those around me, and I look to do that here at Hudson City School District as well. I believe that building on those strengths and working together collaboratively, Cheryl mentioned that word as well, a key one, we really do create opportunities for students to learn, grow, and succeed. And talking about student opportunities, I want to thank the two students here tonight, because to be able to hear you advocate for the opportunities that you are looking for as students is critical. And that's what we want for all students, to advocate for what it is that you're interested in, and for us as adults to listen to you so that we can help you make those opportunities come true. As superintendent, my commitment, I see, is a simple one. It's to listen, to learn, and to keep students at the core of every decision that we make. When I look at Hudson, and yes, I'm coming new to Hudson, but I am from the region and grew up in this area, but looking at Hudson, I see a district that truly embraces diversity, values the community engagement of those around us, and understands the importance of preparing students not just for the work in the classroom, but truly for whatever it is that they choose to do outside the classroom and later on in life. So I'm excited to work together to build on the strong foundation that's already here at Hudson and to continue to create those opportunities for students. The future of Hudson, I believe, is bright, and I'm excited to begin this journey alongside all of you. And thank again the Board of Education for this opportunity and support. And I'm truly honored to serve as the next superintendent of Hudson City School District and look forward to get to work in just a few short weeks. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right. So like I said, make a motion to enter executive session at 7:18 p.m. for the purposes of employment of a person or persons.
Second.
All in favor? And let's get you back up here. We'll take a group photo, and then you can meet some folks from the community.
Hey,
I'll say,
did you
I'll
all
say.
see that Peter Meyer gave a thumbs up?
Yes, I did.
Based on
I think
vote
it's
time?
hysterical, though. He only
Hold on.
said.
Lou?
Okay.
No.
Thank you all for your patience and for giving Mr. Hilgendorf a warm welcome. I make a motion to exit executive session at 7:31 p.m.
Second.
All in favor? Next we have personnel agenda. Make a motion to accept personnel agenda items A1 through 13 and B1 through 8.
Second.
All in favor?
Oh, wait, I have a question about this.
Yes.
I see that we're reducing ENL teachers, psychologists, and reading teachers. Do you like? I don't know if this is whoever is going to answer this question, but like, what is the impact that's our schools are gonna face when we've shown a clear need for these services?
Could you say that all again?
Yes.
They put the speaker.
Sorry.
I don't even know where it is, but it's very hard for me to hear. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I see that we're reducing ENL teachers, psychologists, and reading teachers. Like, what is the impact our schools are going to face when we've clearly shown a need for these services?
We had the opportunity to meet with two of the departments in the last couple of weeks because they are very much in touch with the challenges that will come from reductions in those three areas. And what we know is that, similar like when we reduce classroom teachers, some of those small groups will be larger. We have some additional programs that we've been fortunate to offer that are beyond the scope of state mandated or IEP, individual education plan mandated services that we will likely have to discontinue going into next year. There's some early language things that we've done at the elementary school for quite a while that we know is going to have an effect on that. So we're still discussing with each of the departments, and also the IEP meetings and annual review meetings for our students with disabilities will continue into the summer, and that's going to give us the full picture of how we're going to fit all the pieces together.
Thank you.
I just want to say something on that note. This was an incredibly challenging budget year, right? And these choices that were made are real and heavy and have an impact on our district and have an impact on lives. And I just want to say that we know that there are people on this list tonight who have showed up tirelessly for this district, who continued to show up to this day, doing after school tutoring with kids, working on committees and volunteer time, and who have for sure had a really real impact, on this district, on all of our kids. And I just I don't want this to just be a hand motion from all of us. I want to really take a moment to acknowledge that, and that this is hard, and that these are really people that really made a huge impact.
Thanks, Amanda, for that.
I had something written down that was more eloquent, but that is
It's
that.
better when you speak from your heart anyway.
Absolutely. Thank you. I agree with all those sentiments. So, make a motion to reduce the positions listed for the 26-27 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
It's important to know, as we talked in the budget presentations, there were a handful of positions that were vacant.
If you don't, you're automatically positive. Though. You don't have to.
Sorry.
You
Excuse
don't
me.
have to. You
Procedural
just-
question.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to vote for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Abstain.
Yep, thank you. I was going to say there are a handful of positions that were left vacant during this school year that we also opted to do. They're not on this list, but we will have it on the next board meeting. Those particular positions that might have had control numbers but had not been filled yet.
Understood. Thank you. Next, we have public forum. Leslie, do we have signups?
We have Nikki Janito.
Thank you. As you folks know, each speaker has 3 minutes to address the board. Under state and federal privacy laws, we cannot entertain any comments or questions about school personnel. We take all of your concerns and questions very seriously. I'll make sure the appropriate staff member gets back to you with answers to your questions.
Hi, everybody. Nikki Janito. Most of you know me. As I came here tonight to speak about one thing, I kind of got caught in another thing. And I think what I need to talk about tonight is communication. Communication is a huge thing in this district, and it falls a lot. As I worked the front desk of the school in the high school, and I worked at the front desk, that's where everybody from the district office goes, I cannot tell you the number of times I send people over there, they come back because nobody will answer the phone, nobody answers the emails, myself send emails, don't get replies. I feel so bad for these kids tonight who came here and the issues that they have. How possibly could they send an email in January and not get an answer back? That's crazy to me. But it seems to be, it happens all the time. It just continually happens no matter how many times people say it. I also would like to say I'm very thrilled that we have a new superintendent, but we are starting from ground zero once again because we did not pick in-house. It's a very scary thing for everybody that works here. The teachers that are retiring, I'm telling you right now, a lot of them don't want to retire. They're retiring because what is happening in our district. We have gone through hell and back, and we are hoping to come back up, but we're not very hopeful. I'm just telling you right now, we are not hopeful that the right thing is going to happen still because of everything that has happened. The reduction in force list, as Mr. Bailey said, this is not half of the reduction in force list. There are many, many positions that have not been refilled. So this is not even half. There are so many issues. I don't even know where to go from there, but we need to do better. We really need to do better, and communication is a huge part of it. There used to be a policy, I'm on the policy committee, maybe we need to bring this up, but there used to be a policy when Maria Sotomayor was here, that you send an email, you got an answer back in 24 hours. Even if it was, you would be getting more of an answer, you got something back in 24 hours. It doesn't happen anymore. You don't get any answers half the time. And it's not okay. And I feel, again, I'm so sorry that happened to you and these teams. If we're supposed to be here for the kids, we've dropped the ball big time. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Those are all extremely valid concerns.
Next, we have Molly Salisbury.
Hi, my name's Molly Salisbury. I am a representative of Columbia County Players. I sent a letter to the board, which I'm curious, have you seen it and have you read it? Do you know who no?
About the use of the space, right?
Oh.
We got that.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
We, as a theater company, would like to come in. We've spoken with principals and superintendents to cast just from Hudson High and rehearse here for a show to be presented at Winter Walk and at the elementary school. It's a children's play. It will be for younger kids, and it will be presented through the Spark of Hudson. That's where the performance will be. What we're asking is for a waiver of the fee to use space in this facility to rehearse. I specifically requested the auditorium, but that is not necessary. We can rehearse in any space that is about 30 by 30, even 25 by 25 would work. I hope you are able to take this under consideration. And do you have any questions for me?
I don't have a question, but I apologize that I did receive it. Leslie forwarded it to me, and we've been overwhelmed with other stuff to do that I didn't.
Yeah, there's been a lot happening.
Yeah, so I apologize that I had no idea, but I did have it. She sent it to me.
Thank you.
And I did read it. I just didn't.
Gotcha.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay. Do you need any more information from me?
No, I think it's helpful to know that you're flexible on space. I think one of the issues is that the auditorium's not available for a lot of the dates that you requested. So let us just see what other options might be available.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for being
Should I
here.
come back next month?
We'll make sure that you get a follow-up either from the facilities team or somebody in central office. Yeah.
Okay, then I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Next we have Lindsay Konderwich.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Conrich. I'm the guidance secretary in the elementary school and also the clerical union president. I'm also going to touch on the list of the reduction in force that was presented tonight about the inaccuracies of it. We have one clerk typist listed, but 3 if you include vacancies. We have 1 computer service specialist listed, but 2 if you also add in vacancies. Our administrative assistant position is only temporary through August, and nothing has been discussed what we are doing moving forward with that. And also we have a courier position, which was changed to a inventory clerk part-time. We even had interviews for that, and I believe we had someone chosen and didn't move forward in filling that as well. So I just want to reiterate, like, all of these positions are being cut or are vacancies, and that work is going where? It is a huge concern, and those are just the positions that are in my own union, not in others. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Laura Bender.
Good evening, everybody. I know I can't talk about personnel matters. Luckily, the people I'm going to talk about are not employees of the district. I want to take a moment to recognize Labona in her last meeting as a student representative. Oh God, I'm going to cry.
Don't cry, I'm going to cry.
Labona has showed immense dedication to this role, as I'm sure you can all tell. She puts lots of thoughts into what she wants to share for her board reports, and she's very incredibly thoughtful about all of the topics that she wants to share, and immensely dedicated to the point where she's sticking it through all the way to 9:30 board meetings. So I wanted to give her a shout out because she's immensely dedicated, and what an asset. She has so many responsibilities, but continues to meet all of them in a poised and collective fashion, and just continues to impress me every single day. I'm really excited Liba left, but I'm really excited to see Liba take on this role next year. As you can already tell from her presentation, she is just as dedicated and articulate as Labona, and she is going to be just as passionate about doing everything that Labona is doing right now. And I just wanted to take a minute to say, these young women are 2 of the best shining examples of the best and the brightest in our schools that we are serving. They're thoughtful, they're articulate, they care deeply about our school and the people in it, staff and students. And at a time when our district faces criticism and scrutiny, these young women remind us what our school district does every single day. They're a powerful reminder of the extraordinary young people in our district and the success stories that deserve to define us as a district. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Labona will be missed.
You're gonna make me cry.
Anyone else, Leslie?
No, that's
Okay. Thank you all for coming to speak tonight. Next, we have our superintendent's report.
As mentioned, we did have the bid opening today for our portion of the construction that'll be happening over the next 2 years. The EPC project has already kicked off. That's the one we partnered with Johnson Controls for. And we were pleased that we had a lot of folks who put their hat in the ring. I think initial estimates are it's at about where we estimated. Not sure whether some of the alternates will make it in. That's always a question, you know, with the potential for overages and things like that. But we're at least initially pleased that the focus of the work is going to get covered. And based on where we are today, we're going to have flexibility into what portions are completed this year and what gets completed next year. And we are grateful for the board being able to meet on Thursday so we can approve those bids, because as we know, the sooner we're able to approve the bidders, the quicker they'll get out on the street and get the work done. We talked a little bit about booster clubs last time. The policy committee worked on a booster club and partnering agency policy this year, and I am polishing up the accompanying form. I'm going to be sending it out to the clubs or the booster clubs that I'm aware of. And I'm, making a point of mentioning it publicly to ensure that if there are others that maybe I'm not aware of that are nonprofit or not-for-profit and want to be affiliated with the school, as part of the policy says, it allows them to use the facilities without cost. It allows them to use all the branding for the school. And we have some organizations that really do some phenomenal things to support our students in the district. So I'll be sending it out to the organizations that I know, and ideally at the reorg meeting we would be approving our partnership, formalizing our partnership with those groups. So Mark mentioned a little bit about talking about voting protocols. We had a successful vote in May. And I don't just mean successful because the board officers were elected and the budget was approved. It's a very complex thing to run 3 polling places. It's a complex thing to run 1 polling place, but to run 3, especially at locations that we don't own. We're using other people's facilities, and each one of them was uniquely different. There are some very stringent rules that govern elections, school elections, I'll say, because some of those rules are different for schools than they are for other public elections. But there are some very stringent rules, including like electioneering signs that are intended to be posted at least 100 feet or about 100 feet from the entrance to the polling place. I know I was at, what was the firehouse I was at? Central. I was at Central. 100 feet is in the middle of the parking lot, in the middle of the road, or down on a sidewalk somewhere. It's really complex to figure out how to do that, but it is a rule. So some of the things that we've been talking about as we debriefed with people from the community and internally, we're talking about, well, is there anyone else that can run our election? And the comptroller has stated that no, we as a school entity have to run our own elections. Unfortunately, we can't hire it out. It would be great if we could. But could we have an independent observer, someone from the community who could observe at polling stations or the voting process? We actually can. So that's something that we will take under consideration, because we absolutely want to ensure transparency and confidence, bolstering confidence in our community. We talked about, as I mentioned, putting out those signs for electioneering. And here's the most tragic thing. I always thought electioneering was like, I'm running for office. I'm going to stand in front of the polling place and say, I'm great, vote for me. But electioneering is also me saying to Mark, can you believe that jerk? I would never vote for him. Or, this is the best person for the job. I am electioneering just by having a conversation with another citizen next to me. And I think maybe making that a little more clear to our citizenry when they enter a polling place would be valuable. Having a phone number displayed in each of the polling places, if someone has a complaint or a concern that they could call and say, hey, you know what, there's no information, the ballot is not displayed, or the electioneering signs aren't out, or Mark keeps talking to me about a candidate, that's really annoying me. And I can call and complain. Our poll workers were trained before the event, and we're very fortunate. Sometimes we get people who are from the Board of Elections and other citizens in the community, but we know training is very important, especially when you're in 3 places. And we'll continue to do that training and make sure that our pollsters know all the practices and protocols, but also know what they are able to say and do. It's really so important. At that moment, they are kind of representing, should be representing with neutrality, that the school is, doing a vote in all of the expected ways. When absentee ballots come in, we'll have a secure location for those. That only makes sense, and we'll check them in when they come in. And the board, as Mark said, again, is going to discuss in February or March to reinforce that these are the protocols that we stand by, and these are the things that we're going to commit to ensure that our voters are getting as neutral and impartial a voting event as they possibly can. Elections can be very contentious. Now, every election, school board elections, public elections, national elections, can be contentious, and we know the one thing they should never be contentious about is how they were run. So, and I'm very appreciative of all those people who contributed, giving us feedback after we finished what was a very difficult, all elections are difficult, but it is difficult to get all those things ready as we pull into that one important date in New York State. I'm going to say a bunch of dates and times, and you got to call me out if I'm not right, okay? Labana mentioned graduation. Okay. Before that, and board members, please know you're more than welcome to join us if you're available. On Tuesday, the 23rd at 5 p.m., we're having 8th grade moving up in this room. Wednesday, we keep the party going with pre-K moving up, which is actually going to be in Greeport Town Park. And it's going to be a beautiful sunny morning at 9 o'clock.
That's so sweet.
And Thursday, June 25th at 9 a.m., 5th grade in this very room. We'll be moving up, and we know we have graduation on or around 6:30. Does that sound right?
6.
Is it?
Yes. Is it 6? I thought it was 6. Never mind, 6:30. I don't know.
I'm going to be there at 6:15 no matter what happens.
Everybody show up at 6, just in case.
That's what it says on my flyer, okay? Maybe
You know
I'm
what?
wrong.
If I was talking to high school students, I would say 6 o'clock all day long. I see them roll in at 8:30 in the morning. Not you. Not you.
No, me
Nope.
included.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Just want to mention for the elections too that we tried something different with revealing the results here at a board meeting. Usually we tallied them live and did it a little differently this year, so we should look at that as well, and make sure that folks who are in the audience understand what's going on, and that we're not keeping people waiting unnecessarily because everybody's anxious to see those results. And I wanted to go backwards one step. Just on the personnel agenda, we did approve tenure for a number of staff members, and our plan is in September to have an event to recognize all the staff members who received their tenure between now and then.
And we have a few more that we'll be recognizing at the reorg meeting.
Mhm.
So we will have a larger cohort to celebrate when y'all get to September.
And also I'm going to embarrass somebody a little bit, but Miss Caldwell and Miss Halpin is sitting in the back, and she is the new director of our 21st Century After School Learning Program. And for those of you who don't know her, she's has a lot of huge fans, and the kids there will love her, and I know we'll do great things with our after school program.
It'd be awesome.
Okay, consent agenda. Anybody have any questions, comments about consent agenda items? Okay. I will make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through AA.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, policy. Amanda.
All right, here's where I'm going to talk a lot more about policy. There's a bunch of policies here that are up for first read. Many of them are required to be adopted annually, and so these are up for first read, but I want to name that there's still work happening on them, so I want to kind of go through that. The student attendance policy that's here is the policy as is. One of the things we talked about in policy committee, and I think like broadly one of the things we've been talking about is doing a better job at making sure policy doesn't live on paper, but it truly comes to life within our district. And that's something that we've been starting to talk about in the policy committee here. An example of that would be that we have a student attendance policy that doesn't reflect a lot of the things that are happening in our district-wide attendance committee. And so one next step there is, this policy is there, it is fine, right? But there are things that are happening within our district around attendance that are not reflected in this policy. So running that policy by the attendance committee to see sort of what we can add, what we can enhance to continue to move the needle on attendance. Name that. The next one up, I'll talk through all of them and then people can ask questions about any, or should we want to pause at each one?
I think talk
keep
through it
going.
is fine. Yep.
Next one is parent and family engagement. I realize, Leslie, and I apologize, I should have caught this earlier, but we did make one change to this one that's not reflected, which is that we strengthened the language around ensuring that materials go home in students' home languages. And this version doesn't have that change. It was literally just like one additional line that strengthened that, so we can make sure that that gets in front of everybody so you can see that change. That was the change that we made there. Code of conduct, like I talked about before, is basically an entirely new document thanks to a ton of work by people within the district and like I said, that is going to a second round of staff feedback. I shared with all of you as well. We can discuss, but also a process for submitting any comments so that the entire committee can look and make those changes. And the changes that were made, between the first time we saw it and a revised draft, which was sent out last Friday, which is the draft that is up here in front of you all. And then 6240 does not have any changes from last year. That's a reauthorization. 6700, those do not have substantial changes. 6741, I believe this actually is, not 6740, can get merged into 6700. Sorry, these are all about investments and purchasing authority. So we are going to do work to combine what's in, you'll see right now in 6740, but it's actually 6741. Here we go. How many numbers can I say? You will see the sample policy of like making sure that we have that content merged into the purchasing, because purchasing and purchasing authority can be one policy. It's helpful to not have these things separated out into so many different policies. So one member of our policy committee is working on that merge right now. But you can see the content separated. It will just be combined into one when that happens. Org chart reflects the changes to the central office staff, leadership staff there. And then the last one on this is a new policy that was recommended to us through our work with NYSBA and that we spent some time thinking about and decided was really important for our district around disclosure of wrongful conduct and a process for really making sure that that there's a standardized process for coming forward when you think that something isn't like sitting right within the district. We talked, I previewed this a little bit last time, and Diana, please jump in on anything that I'm going to miss here.
As soon as I can, I will.
We talked a lot about, a policy on paper only goes so far, and recognizing that there's a lot of relational trust that has been fractured in our district, and what does it look like to rebuild that, and what does it look like for people to take a policy like this and actually feel comfortable coming forward about something or voicing a concern about something. And so we wanted to spend some time just talking a little bit more about, like, acknowledge that publicly, and talk a little bit more about that with regard to this new policy, which has not been a part of our policy before. And I'm going to turn it over to Diana, also on policy committee. to talk
I
more.
just want to comment on this because I've brought it up several times. One of the reasons that I ran for school board was because of the retaliatory behavior of some of the people that are at the school. I thought, well, I'll join the board and I'll let them know because they just didn't know what was going on. But if you look at the policy, which is the same for the state and the county and all of these workers in the same groups, the civil service, let's say I want to complain to my superior, and I go and I talk to my superior, they're mad at me, they make the situation worse. So the next step on the chain of command would go to my department chair. I go to my department chair, this person's making me feel uncomfortable. My superior makes it worse for me now because, oh my gosh, I said something to somebody. So then I go to the union president and I explain this is what's happening. So then they go and speak to that superior, and then it's worse for me, and then all the way up to the superintendent. And people are counseled not to talk to each other. And Nikki brought up the communication. So you're not supposed to talk to the school board because, and I'm not talking about Dr. Bailey specifically because this is new and I'm talking about, other things. So I just want to put that out there. So if it gets to the superintendent and they find out you spoke to the board, well then that's even worse for you. So then after you get to the school board and the superintendent, then what? Because now here you're sitting in your room, right? And say I was still a teacher and a child complained to their parents because Mrs. Howard's making me do all this work. She's targeting me because, she's trying to make me pass the test because that's how we're graded on how our test scores are. I'm not targeting you. This is what I'm trying to do is get everybody to do well. So the parent calls the school, complain against you. So what you're teaching me as a teacher now is that I just need to stay in my room and not push anybody because I don't want to get in trouble because then I lose my job. I have to sit with the superintendent. I have to sit with my union president, and it's a whole lot of hassle. So what happens to my test scores? They go down, clearly. So because you have a piece of paper that says this is our policy and we're protecting you, I'm not protected. So if we don't put something actually in there to the what if, because if you tell me to get a lawyer, what is that? That's telling me to buzz off. And then you have a possible lawsuit. Do we really want that? So I've said this since jump, and nobody knows really what to do. At the policy committee anyway. So that was my little spiel. I don't know if anybody wants to share. But the morale at the school is really, really low because we are not treated respectfully by anybody and there's no protection. I'm always going to say we. I don't care if I'm sitting on this side. My first job in the Hudson City School District was in 1992. What did you just say?
She didn't say anything.
No, those are valid concerns, and I think with anything that's written on a piece of paper, trust is definitely a big part of it, and that takes time to repair and time to build. So I don't have an easy answer for that.
Committee is that there's like nothing that can go in writing that's a magic bullet to fixing that, right? Like trust has to be re-earned, trust has to be rebuilt. Having the right thing in writing is like the first step, but it is only the first step.
Right.
It does not.
And that's true of everything in policy, right? If nobody's behind it and no one's following through on it, no matter what the policy is, you have to have the trust, you have to have communication, you have to follow through, you have to work together as a team. And if, right? I don't think it's unique to this particular.
Oh, it's absolutely not. But what do you do at that,
Right.
then what?
Right. But you start with the policy and then you build from there. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's the same policy. It's the
it's
same policy that we've had
Okay,
this whole
so
time.
then we change, then the policy isn't the issue. Then the issue is the atmosphere. But
mean-
we know that, and we're trying to work on it, and we're trying to improve it, right?
This particular policy is new, right? Like, this hasn't existed previously, but it
It's the
doesn't
state.
necessarily.
Oh, this one, sorry. I was talking about the other
Yeah,
one in my
it
head.
doesn't, yeah, there's two that are very
Yeah,
similar,
sorry.
which is why.
Yep.
No, you're
I got
good.
confused.
You know, but I think yeah, I don't know that there's a solution. I don't know that there's something we can do. I think what we are hoping is that, like, the first step is to publicly, like, acknowledge that.
And that's what we're doing right now, is we're acknowledging it and saying that we're gonna try to do something to repair it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would just add that
Thank you, Amanda.
you know, this policy is specifically about big things, but you know, a lot of things get big when it's a culmination of a lot of little things. So even, you know, talking about Nikki's suggestion for a policy about, you know, responding to emails, you know, if people know that emails are, you know, going to be responded to in a certain way, then, you know, take some of the other you know, anxiety or alienation out of, you know, the other feelings that they're feeling that can
Maybe I wrote that
accumulate
down,
over
too, so we
time.
don't forget to actually bring that directly up in policy.
Yeah. Okay, any comments or questions about other policies? I will personally say I am very excited that we will hopefully have a new code of conduct soon. It's been probably 3 or 4 years coming, and wouldn't have happened if Amanda and the Code of Conduct Committee didn't put in a massive amount of work this year.
Yeah, I know I've said it, but I just want to, like, continue to shout out the entire committee who really was so thoughtful in, like, revamping what we wanted the policy to sort of, like, look and feel like sort of better meet the needs of all of our constituents, and really, like, looking at models from other districts, pulling out what we liked, what we didn't like around those, really, really, like, revamping. And I hope that we have landed in a place that has, that's more user-friendly and that draws the through line between how restorative work and like consequences do go hand in hand to support students with building skills, and that we are more clear on, like, the process and the next steps around things. I'm sure there's more work that still needs to be done on it, and we will have that ready by July too.
Awesome. Thank you. So new business. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I do have a question going back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Just catching up. The interim superintendent agreement, there's significant overlap with Mr. Hogendorf's appointment. Just wondering how that's going to go as far as who's in charge, and is it more of a transitional thing?
The first day that he starts, I am no longer that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there can only be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the new agreement, this new agreement, previously we had 30, had to give them 30 days notice, and this new one has.
It says 5.
It has 5. So
Yeah.
basically, July 13th, work backwards from there. On July 7th or 8th, we'll officially tell him that
See
July
ya.
Or
13th
tonight.
July 13th will be his last day, and then the only other piece of that is unique all of
we can get this through in July, then we have the ability to really thoughtfully plan for like, one, how do staff engage with this on day one? How does it go out to students on day one? How does it go out to families on day one, right?
The messaging.
And really having the time for admin, for new superintendents, who are working 12 months to like do that implementation work with this over the summer.
Yep. Great. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. New business item, tennis versus pickleball survey results. So
Close the public hearing.
I was going to keep it open until we're
Oh,
done
that's
with
sorry,
the rest of the new
that's what you said. I
business, just in
misunderstood.
case anybody else gets inspired. So folks are aware that we had an exit poll after our school budget vote, asking folks if they were in favor of painting pickleball lines on our tennis courts if we resurface them in our capital project. It is currently an alternate, so if we have the resources to complete it, it will be a project that's done. There are a few different options on there, and it was broke down to 322 for pickleball lines of some kind and 199 against. So fairly close. And we don't need to make a decision tonight, again, considering it's an alternate, but something for the facilities committee to keep in mind. And as we get closer to making determinations about which pieces of the capital project move forward, we should continue to have this discussion. One thing that I do continue to see out there is the question on whether or not you can hold sanctioned tennis matches on a tennis court with pickleball lines, which I still don't think we have a clear answer to. So we should try and get an answer to that. And then the other thing that I saw some concern about was if we do pickleball lines, which of the courts gets them? Is it the one that's closest to the stands or furthest from the stands? But if anybody else has other questions or comments or concerns regarding this exit poll, love to hear your thoughts.
Mark, can you just explain like the numbers down below on this graphic?
You mean the 11? I think those were.
Or I guess.
I'm interpreting this as 199 said no pickleball courts, just tennis courts. 109 liked the design where the pickleball court is centered on the fence or net, which is a common design, even though pickleball nets and tennis nets are technically different heights. A lot of people just reuse them. And then the one all the way on the right got 100.
I see the math now.
Yeah, got
Now I
100,
get it.
got 159 votes, and that's one where you're superimposing two different pickleball courts over a tennis court. The distinction there being that you would need to have a portable pickleball net that you bring and move out there yourself.
And then 54 people checked off both pickleball boxes.
Yes.
Which is where
What
we
that
get
word
to
is.
322. I was
Yes.
trying to figure out the math, but
I couldn't read that.
now I see that.
Yes, and looks like there were 11 that were illegible.
Right.
So. And yeah, I know there's great interest in the community in these results, so they are now out there in the public, and we'll be sure to keep people posted as we continue our capital projects. The next two items is a board communication handbook and board event log. We don't need to go through these in detail now because we will be having a board retreat at some point during the summer, and obviously want Mr. Hilgendorf's feedback on our communication style before we all agree on it. But these were two items that were part of our board goals And you know, I think it's important that we continue to hold ourselves as a board accountable for the things that we say we're going to do. The event log would be an interactive feature. Right now it's just a PDF, but something that we could all easily go in and say, hey, I attended this event on this date, and this is what I noticed or saw there. Any questions, comments on those things? Okay, make a last call for any comments on policy 5300, code of conduct. Okay, so make a motion to close the public hearing for policy 5300, code of conduct at 8:23 p.m.
Second.
All in favor? Next, we have our 2026-2027 school district calendar. I know there was a little bit of discussion about it at our last meeting, and does not appear anything's changed, just some movable
No
things.
change.
Yes.
I did have discussions based on what we discussed in the meeting. We explored some other things around Juneteenth, and the problem, as with some of the other not quite yet state or federal holidays, it's been mentioned in some contracts, so there was no other day to find where everyone could be here or no one would be here. So we landed with keeping what is the least worst scenario. That's not a great advertisement, I'm aware of that. The least worst scenario, which is coming back for a superintendent's conference day on that last day of the what we'll call April break.
This is something that I would want staff to be on board with, but did people have an opportunity to weigh on, like, what would it look like to move that one of those half days to June 28th and preserve April break? If it were me as a teacher, that would be my preference. I recognize I am not the, decider in this, but that's just a wonder I have, is like, would staff prefer to keep that whole April break and move one of those half days onto the 28th of June? That's just one, wonder I had.
Mm-hmm.
Did you said coming to school on June 28th?
That we would move the last day of school to June 28th, which would let there be a full week off for April break.
I've never
looked at
never
a
known a
couple
school to come
other,
back after the last
districts.
day of Regents. That's the thing. So it wasn't even part of our discussion, but I'm going to hazard a guess. We're going to have the same parameter issue as we did coming back before Labor Day. I've never seen a district come back after the last day of the New York State calendar.
I do know, I looked at some other district calendars because I was curious with Labor Day so late. There are other places, I forget where they are off the top of my head, but I could find them that are going to school that next week. Or one day that next week. Again, I defer to what is best for most people, but I know as an educator, April break was desperately needed at that moment in time.
Create a survey.
Well, I guess the question would be if we need to approve this today.
Okay.
Yeah, and the good news is you can always change it.
We can. Okay, that was my
You
question.
can always make a change. And just as a reminder, I did ask all of the union leaders to come together and help talk through some of these complex problems. And I would say all of us, we left with the same, this isn't great kind of feeling. There's no question. No one felt as though it was a victory. We were just trying to mitigate the worst of the issues that were in it.
So this can be changed after we vote on this? If
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, and we're not doing a printed wall calendar this year due to expenses, so it's not like we're going to be committing to something further that would, require us to do some redaction later on.
Can I ask you another question that's not that? There's two different calendars. One has the board meetings and the other one doesn't. Are we posting both of these on the website or just one?
No, we would post them both on there. One would be on the board webpage.
I'm asking that because there's a lot of calendars. And I think that if we just do the one page that includes the board meetings, at least then all the faculty and staff would know when the board meetings are, and it would be less calendars if we just put the one that has the board meetings. It just seems like a saturation of calendars, because if I look on here to see when stuff is, I defer to my own calendar to see when the meetings are, because I can't figure out which calendar to look at on the website. It seems like there's one for sports and one for all different things, but if I just want to look at a day and see what's going on, I have to look in each category. But for the one page, I think if we put the board meetings on the one page, then they'd know when the board meetings are. That's just my 2 cents.
It doesn't fit on a single page, so you do have bleed over, because if you're looking at, maybe it does fit. It didn't look, okay. I was gonna say, if you had both, it might not fit on the single page, but no, it
No,
looks
it's
like
just
one of the
one
sections is-
highlighted. This is just one
Gotcha, I see what
additional
you're-
highlight or two highlights, because there's the meetings are highlighted and the workshops are highlighted, and then they'd know when the meetings are. I mean,
Cool.
it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be a secret.
That's a good suggestion, absolutely.
Yeah, there's nothing crucial in that bottom right-hand corner of the other regular calendar. There's nothing crucial there. It's just a mathematical count. We could certainly just use the school board one.
Cool. Well, since it can be changed, everybody good to vote on this now? Make a motion to approve the draft 26-27 school calendar.
Second.
All in favor? And make a motion to approve the 26-27 Board of Education meeting calendar.
Second.
All in favor? Superintendent search, I gave an update earlier because our superintendent search is over.
Sorry, I forgot to take it off.
That's okay. Information item, we would love to thank the Hudson Valley Creamery for donating school supplies for use of our students during the school year. And second public forum, Leslie, did anybody else sign up? No? Okay, board discussion. Folks have anything else they'd like to discuss or talk about?
May I just add one thing?
Oh, yeah.
I did a bad thing.
Uh-oh.
Anything that did go right at our election was because of Leslie, who literally was dragging boxes and voting machines and name a thing around for the weeks beforehand, and training the staff and getting the polling places ready. And it's hard to do it in one place. She did it 3 times on that day and before that day. So
yeah,
thank you, Leslie, for all of your efforts on that.
And it is a little crazy that of all the things school districts are expected to do, we're also expected to run elections. I did have a thought on that, which we should put out there. How attached is the community to having 3 different polling places? Like, I think it feels like it would make everybody's lives so much easier if there was one polling place and Lusa.
As someone who grew up on an hour bus ride and lives 25 minutes away from here, you're gonna lose a huge.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I would
totally
think
fair.
There are many years where we have a tough time with turnout for school elections anyway. I would hate to think that reducing the number of polling places could cause, a further reduction in
Can
the
I
folks who
just
turn out.
interject?
Yeah.
We've looked into this previously.
Okay.
And state law, because New York State education law, because we're a small city school, we have to have more than one. Chris Shale helped me when I first started. We had 5 locations.
Wow.
and we were able to narrow it down to 3, and we actually had a really good turnout this year.
We did. We had a great turnout.
Compared to the last,
Yeah.
take out COVID,
Mm.
and then all the years before that, we were lucky if we hit 800 voters.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So that there goes that thought.
we could move it back to the 2 school buildings, have the votes in the school buildings. That's preferable, but then we have to have half a day of school.
Listen, way back when I was in school, that's where the
Yeah.
votes took place. I remember the machines in the school building.
Yeah. Well, we used to have buildings that were more equitably dispersed throughout the district too, so wouldn't necessarily solve the issue of access. Okay.
I just have one quick thing for board discussion, which is that for the second year now, there's a group of parents and kids who are organizing a Hudson Blue Hawks contingency for Hudson Pride next weekend. It is not organized by any group or organization. It actually stemmed from one particular kindergartner last year being like, why isn't there a Blue Hawk float in the Pride Parade, Mom? And so I think that just putting that out there if anyone wants. Last year we got over 50 students, parents, staff members, just with informal spreading the word. So just continuing to do that. We're gonna gather at the corner of State and 7th, which is part of the parade lineup somewhere near where our flotilla of little caravans of children will be. But if anyone else wants to be a part of it, and please spread the word, really positive way to just celebrate a lot of the amazingness of Hudson kiddos.
Yeah, the kids made little signs and stuff like that. Remember last year? It was very cute.
They did a great job.
Yeah.
We'll have a bunch of sign making stuff too. If people want to show up early, the parade's at 2, but starting at 12:30, there'll be cardboard and temporary tattoos and bubbles and all that kind of stuff.
Very, very cool. Okay. Upcoming meeting dates. We have a special Board of Education meeting Thursday, June 18th, 2 days from now at 5:30 p.m. in the high school library. The purpose of this meeting is to award capital project construction bids. There may be 1 or 2 other pieces of business on the agenda, but it will be minimal. We have a number of board members who are not available, so if you've said you can make it and for some reason your plans change, please let us know as quickly as possible so that we can ensure we have a quorum. And then we have our annual organizational meeting Tuesday, July 7th, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in the high school auditorium. Make a motion to enter executive session at 8:35 p.m. For the purposes of the employment history of a particular persons or persons, and for the discussion of proposed, pending, or current litigation.
Second.
All in favor? There will be no further business after executive session. Thank you all for being here and for participating in our meeting.